Hey, hello everyone. Bruno here, and today we are going to talk about SQL Server 2025, .NET Aspire, and more. And as usual, jumping directly into the code, the demos, and more. And remember, subscribe, like, and everything. So, okay, let's clean that. This is the main repo. You can see the URL down in the banner below, and everything that you are going to see is going to be here available. We have a lot of semantic search scenarios, MCP scenarios, and more. And we have a new one that uses SQL Server 2025. And why I like this? Because I was following 2025, and I really like. And by the way, take a look at this short video with the talk about everything that is new in SQL Server 2025. But I really, really like that we have the chance right now to basically create vector fields and also do kind of AI cool stuff directly in the database. So we don't need to switch to a vector database. We can use some out of the box features in 2025, in SQL 2025 there. So what I did here is I tried to update basically the eShopLite that we have as an example to use these features. The first things that I realized is that when you add a SQL Server into using Aspire, and remember everything here is going to be provided by Aspire, not is internal, is going to provide is going to provision by Aspire. So when we add a SQL Server in the app host, the default version, this is today, but it may be changed tomorrow. It was for SQL Server 2022. And hey, initially I tried to create my own Docker file in using this file. And then I get to a point that the amazing David Fowler point me in the right direction, say, hey man, you are using this. Can you change the container image tag? And yes, we have here the full set of SQL Server, Ubuntu based image, and somewhere here in the bottom, let's go here, we have the latest 2025. So going back to the code, Aspire is going to create the SQL Server like this, and I am going to have my Docker container, my SQL database up and running locally in a container, and this is a SQL Server 2025. And this is cool, this is amazing. The next step was, okay, how can I use the vector capabilities, the vector data types, and more. I have here in my data types, in my projects, in my model, data entities, I have here my product, and my product has the standard name, description, price, and I have here a field name embeddings. That is going to be the one that we need to do at the vector. So what is important here is that when we register and start to work with the database, we need to do a couple of things. So if I go back to my backend project, which is going to be the product, I need to connect to the database. The standard way to do this, because we created the resource in an app host and everything is connected, is to basically say builder, add SQL Server DB context. But we need to access to the connection string because we need to use this option, use SQL Server, use vector search, which is something that I am going to explain later. So we can literally start to work with the vector data type and later do a vector search. So it's a part of the code, clean the code if you want, but this is the 2 lines of code that you need to do. And then we have the database. Once we have the database, what we can do is very, very easy. I mean, the context is as we have, as a standard. The only important mentioned here is that when we create the model, we need to enable in the product entity, the class that we just seen, that the column embedding will have a vector, and this is the size of the vector. And then when we initialize the class, I am going to use an embedding client. I am using, I think it's ADA, I don't know, I think it's ADA 003 or the small one. And what I am going to do is once I create all of the products, I am going to get the embedding and add the value there. With this, we are going to have our database ready to go. Now I have my project up and running. We can see here that we have the SQL Server running in Docker. And what we can do is, hey, I can go here to the SQL and take a look here in the bottom. This is the password that we have. This is the password that we have for the database. But if we want to use this, I can go to the products, the backend, and somewhere here, we have the connection string. There it is. I am going to copy this to take a look here in Visual Studio Code. So now I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code and I am going to create a new connection from my connection string. There it is. I'm going to connect to the server. I'm connected. I can see the tables. This is my product where we can see that we have ID, name, description, and we have the embeddings. And of course, if I take a look at the data here, we are going to see that we have some embeddings values at the end. So hey, this is super cool. This is how fast we can create a table, add embeddings, and more. The final step will be to basically say how we can do a search here, because we are using a super cool dependency. Oh, I can't use the package here. Okay, let me show you this. We are using this dependency, which is entity framework functions, vector search, and I think I also have it somewhere here. Yes. No, I don't have it here, but we are using one of the dependencies that basically allows us to do this. Once we have this, if we want to do an AI search, a vector search, what I am going to do is, hey, if someone make a query to search for products, I'm going to create an embedding from the query, and then I am going to do entity framework functions, vector distance, cosines, and I am going to do embedding, the vector search, give me 3, and this is up and running. If I test this in the eShopLite and we go here something for rainy days, we will see that right now, given the values here, kind of nice, and I can even go to the traces and start to take a look how they get there, how they did the search and more. So super cool, super amazing. And again, it's just a couple of lines of code where we create the database using the specific image, and then we can use it later. SQL Server 2025 is amazing. I hope you like it. Once again, this is all available here in the eShopLite SQL 2025 repository. Oh my God, sorry, I went blank for a second there. Repository in that scenario. And hey, once again, I like the subscribe and more. Let me know what else you want to see here. I know SQL is done. The next one I think I have in my list is to create something with, I can remember if I am going to do Cosmos or I want to do something else. It's not Chroma, it's not Postgres. I don't know. I have something else in the list. Let me know if you want a specific scenario and we can figure out how to do it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.